teams from all over the world gather together every 4 years to qualify for the World Cup, which is the championship, biggest tournament in soccer. It's organized by FIFA. That's the governing body for soccer. And the biggest thing is how much money, how much revenue, how much sponsorships come into this tournament, as well as how much prestige goes to the winner of this tournament. It's a really big deal, especially outside of the United States, where football or soccer is the biggest part, or the biggest sport that they have, or sometimes the only sport. This is a really big deal. Here in the United States, however, the appearances that we've made in the World Cup are less than 10. The best that we ever did in the tournament was reaching the semifinals, which was in 1940, the first year of the tournament, 1339, sorry. Since then, we haven't reached the semifinals. This year, we reached the knockout stages, which is the first time in quite a few years that we've gotten that far. But obviously, there's something that we could learn from the other countries that have been doing soccer or football longer that would increase the chances of a team like the United States winning. And so we're going to look at that today. So the road to becoming the World Cup champion. The first part of it is the youth programs that they have. Outside of the United States, lots of countries have youth programs to help raise the kids learning soccer. And so they're doing it from their childhood up, and that really gives them an advantage. Also, another thing is the qualification process. There's a lot that goes into how the team actually gets qualified for the World Cup in the different regions, and we're going to take a look at that. And the third is the World Cup itself. Once you get to the tournament, what do you have to do to win it? All right, La Masia. This is a program that Barcelona has. It's to raise the kids in a setting where they can learn their secular school along with learning soccer at the same time. This program has been really big in helping Barcelona develop their players that they've had for a long time, to raising them to be competitive footballers for the team, which has been a great asset. The athletes that this program produces are world-class athletes. They're not just, like high school team athletes. These are athletes that end up making millions of dollars playing the sport, and also end up winning titles for different countries, and also winning titles for their clubs. The next part that we move from sort of the foundation of what soccer is, moving on to what the tournament is, the World Cup, is the qualifying. There's 6 different FIFA regions in the World Cup. The different qualifying regions are right here. We have North America, the CONCACAF region, which includes North America, Central America, and the Caribbean islands. And then there's the South American, African, European, Asian, and Oceania, which are the different regions. The different regions based on how many teams they have, as well as the FIFA rankings, which ranks each team's over the whole entire process. That's what helps determine how many automatic seeds they get to the tournament. For example, the USA or CONCACAF in the region, they have 3.5 slots, which means that 3 teams that are the best in the region automatically qualify, while the 4th team has to play the 5th place team from South America to qualify. And this year, the 5th place team from South America, which was Uruguay, which ended up winning 4th in the whole tournament, beat out the 4th place team of the CONCACAF region. Last of all, in the 32 qualifying teams. So out of all those regions, it adds up to 32 teams coming from the different areas of the world. And the last position is held by the host nation, which this year was South Africa. Once they qualify for the tournament, there's a groups lottery, which goes into the first stage of the tournament. There's a big lottery where they decide who's going to be in which group, and that can really mess some things up. I remember in 2006. We got a semi-decent group. We had a couple difficult teams, but we had some teams which didn't seem like they were going to be very difficult. They ended up beating us, so we didn't even qualify to go on to the next stage. So the group lottery is a big part of what determines who will move on to the further stages coming out of the group stages. Once you get to the World Cup, the first stage is the group stages. This is a round robin. Every team plays the other team one time, and then based on a point system, they advance to the further stages in the tournament. Once they get past the group stages, they go to the knockout rounds. The knockout rounds are from the final 8 upward, or the final 16 I should say, and every stage, if you lose, you're out of the tournament. So at this point you've been playing for about 2 weeks, and then after every game that you go into, you have the chance of losing and then being out of the tournament completely. And then you get up to the championships. The championships consist of the semifinals and the finals, because after the semifinals, the losers go to a 3rd place, 4th place match. In the championships, we had this year Spain and the Netherlands, and it ended up that the Netherlands lost and Spain won. When they won, this was the first time that they'd ever won the championship. They got a star added to their insignia, which signifies winning a World Cup. Some of the different nations that have won the tournament, like Brazil for example, has won 5 times. They have 5 stars. Germany's won 3 times. They have 3 stars. And it's that way for the different nations, but it's a very selective group. Only about 9 nations have ever won the World Cup, and so winning it's a really big deal. And especially for these 2 nations, because they were, it's the first World Cup for either of them. The Netherlands has been to the World Cup 3 times, the World Cup Championship 3 times, but they've never won it, so pretty depressing for them. The biggest part though, the biggest part is that the amount of prestige that goes into this, and also I talked about the money. There's a lot that can be earned from the World Cup. I think the winner's purse, or the amount that the Spanish players got, was a pretty substantial bonus to their checks. A lot of them were making millions just from winning this one tournament. So there's a lot of money to be had in soccer, and as far as the sport goes, this is definitely the biggest tournament in the world, and it really goes into how much dedication and how much effort is put into the starting stages of the football. Raising the kids from the youth, the Masia program. I got that information straight off of the Barcelona website, and also other teams in Spain have similar programs as well as throughout Europe. And with the knockout stages and the information about the rounds that they have, I found all that information on FIFA.com, which is a very big organization. This information for Spain and for the World Cup I got off of FIFA as well, but the article that I had for the US's participation was actually from the New York Times. So it's something really important that the USA is building up their program, and one day they might actually be able to win a World Cup if they keep improving in the same areas that nations like Spain and other nations have. And it can mean that we could win a World Cup. The USA could. That would be awesome.